Alright guys, so it is 2:11 a.m. I'm here in Vietnam and it is prime time for a quick little video about the 5 things that I miss most about Canada. So, as most of you know, probably the people who are watching this video, I've been traveling the world for about 2 years. I haven't been to Canada for about a year. I'm Canadian obviously. And yeah, just living the digital nomad life in Asia. It's been over a year in Asia. I'm thinking like 8 countries so far. And currently I'm in Vietnam for at least another month and a half or something like that, at least. No plans to return to Canada anytime soon, but today I was feeling a little bit nostalgic and I thought, let's make a video on the 5 things I miss most about Canada. So let's get into it. Let's make this one a short video, enough of these long videos for a little while. Okay, number 1, I would be remiss if I didn't start off with family. That's the number 1 thing I miss most about Canada. You know, the countryside is nice, but family is where it's at. And, you know, just traveling and being a digital nomad, you miss out on the big moments and you miss out on the little moments and you just kind of miss out on a lot of stuff family-wise. So, you know, every time I go home, my cousins are a little bit taller, people are a little bit different, you know, grandparents are looking a little bit older, just a tiny little bit. Sorry, Grandma. But yeah, you know, you just kind of miss out on all the family gatherings, you know, and there isn't really enough family stuff going on that I feel super bad about missing it. It's not like a guilty feeling. It's more just kind of like a feeling like, you know, hey, grandma, you know, grandparents, all these people might not be here forever. It kind of feels like you're missing out on that. And you also kind of miss that familiarity, that feeling of being in your family's home, you know, having them over, welcoming them, like the family gatherings, the family dinners, like the big food nights and stuff like that. So that's the number 1 thing I miss most out of everything, by a long shot. But, you know, I'm gonna go back and I'll see them soon. So, number 2, this is not in any order. I'm not exactly following up with family on this one, but I miss shopping online. And you can shop online in like Vietnam and other countries too, but it's just not the same. You know, the other day I was looking for a certain product called minoxidil to grow out my beard a little bit more. It's kind of weak. I got like these patches right here. It's pretty annoying. But if I was in Canada, you know, you just go on Amazon and it's at your door like tomorrow or the next day at the latest. You know what I mean? But everything can be shipped to you and it takes like a day. It takes like 2 days. In Vietnam, you can get a lot of the stuff shipped to you, but it's just a way different selection and you're buying it off of some website that you're less familiar with, like a Lazada or a Shopee or something like that. And you're not really sure like what the quality is going to be like, if it's going to be the same thing. I don't know, there's just like some up in the air. And it's just not really the same experience. Maybe it is for the locals. I haven't really ever, I've been in Asia for over a year and I can tell you I've never ordered anything online besides like a food delivery or a taxi. So I've never done it personally, but you know, let me just say that no matter how you cut it, it's not going to be the same as like the Amazon or just like the sheer amount of stuff that you can get delivered to you in Canada online. It's just, you know, next level. It's not as good as the States if you're from the States, but it's definitely a lot better than, you know, everywhere else, especially if you're trying to get something like niche. Like I lost one of my earbuds and I wanted to replace it, and you can just buy the spare one off of eBay. But if I want to get that shipped from like the States to here, it's like most people won't even do that. And the ones that do will want, I don't know, $30 in shipping. So it's kind of brutal. So I miss shopping online and probably going to have like a nice little list of stuff to buy when I go back. And number 3 has got to be in the same realm, cheap electronics. So if you guys have never been to Asia, if you've never been to Latin America, the shit is expensive out here, guys. You know, if you want to buy a new computer, a new smartphone, a new pair of headphones, whatever it is, don't do it in Asia. Don't do it in Asia. Buy it in Canada, buy it in the States, buy it in Western Europe, buy it somewhere else, because there's just like import taxes and stuff here. It really depends country to country, so I'm not going to get into like super specific about which country is best and which country is worse. I don't really care that much. But just overall, in general, stuff is not, you know, you go to Vietnam, you're not going to get like a MacBook for Vietnam prices. That's not how it works. You're going to pay more in Vietnam than you would in Canada. Because those kind of like luxury goods, brand names, yeah, they get taxed. on import duties. So keep that in mind and get all of your electronics ahead of time. Otherwise, you're going to be paying for it. Cool. Number 4, I miss feeling super organized. Sorry, I got my little computer over here. You know, I don't have a teleprompter yet, like some of the other YouTubers, but number 4 is staying organized. So basically, like, you know, as a Canadian, I have to have documentation every once in a while, whether it's like a, you know, I have on the table in front of me here, I have an international driver's license. You can get that, but it's only good for 1 year. After that, you kind of have to figure out how you're going to get your next one. Luckily, I had one of my parents coming to Korea, so they just brought it to me. I had, you know, them renew it in Canada and bring it to me. But if you need, you know, a new driver's license, a new, basically whatever forms you need, it can be pretty hard to stay organized when you're this far. Also, the 2-factor authentication systems that are on most of our social media and email and all those programs, that can be a bit of a bitch because, you know, if Google wants to send you a text message to sign in, do you really want to hook that up to your Vietnamese phone or your Indonesian phone? And then when you go to the next country, you're not sure, you know, do you switch it over? How long are you going to be there? Can you switch it over? Are you going to be roaming in that new country to get that text message to change it? It's just kind of a hassle. So I basically have figured out my own system. I'm not going to reveal it right now. I'm just going to, you know, try not to get hacked and get some weird emails every once in a while. But, you know, staying organized as a whole is just a lot more difficult, obviously, as a digital nomad. And also, like, if you want to put your stuff into storage, there's no storage. I mean, if I was at home in Canada, or, you know, if you're at home wherever you are, you just throw it in the closet, you just put it in the shed, in the garage, in the basement, in the attic, whatever that looks like for you. But for me, I basically have to choose whether I'm bringing it with me or I'm throwing it out, because I'm not shipping anything back to Canada. It would have to be very, very expensive for me to consider that option. Or, you know, I can sell it, I guess, but basically the whole storage option is not really a thing, whereas in Canada, just throw it in somewhere, you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to deal with it, you know, you don't have to sell it, you can just deal with it another day. So that's kind of nice about being home. And then last one, guys, number 5, is I miss camping and the lake life. This probably doesn't apply to most countries, but very Canadian, is that in the summertime, it's, you know, not really so much the winter, but definitely the summer, people like to go to the lake, they like to go camping, kayaking, canoeing. Canada has a ton of lakes and rivers, and, you know, in the summertime, if you got a good friend group, you know, you just go get a cabin between you, you go camping, you find a nice scenic spot, you're surrounded by nature, by all these trees and stuff like that. And I'm sure you can do that to some extent here if you are willing to rent all of the equipment. But there's not really that big of a camping culture in any of the places I've been to. Maybe like pockets, like you see that in pockets on like the Philippines or stuff like that. But overall, it's not really like a big thing like it is in Canada. And if you want to feel comfortable to the same extent that you would in Canada or wherever your home is with all your equipment and stuff like that, because my dad's a little bit of a pack mule, you know, he likes to have everything. So I just always have whatever I need in my my shed, in my garage, camping stove, tents, poles, chairs, whatever you need. But I don't have any of that stuff here. So I miss camping. I miss just hitting the lake with a couple of friends, get some inflatables, get a tube or whatever, get some beers or whatever that looks like for you guys, some sunglasses, you know. It's a lot of fun. So overall, I'm happy with the trade-off. I love traveling. But the things that I do miss about Canada, those are the top 5. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video coming right up, okay? Take care, guys.